Between the Airbnb and booking.com homepage right out the gate is that obviously both start by giving me the opportunity to start my search for my next trip. However, while Airbnb immediately starts providing curated stay options, booking.com first takes the time to tell me who it is as a brand and what gives it its status as a trusted service provider. Only then do I start seeing some customized options such as the quick and easy trip planner, which shows me destinations near me, in this case, Lagos, Carvoeiro, Albufeira, which are all close destinations to Lisbon. Then I see deals for the weekend. These are all places, again, either in Lisbon or nearby because it can tell my location. Then it shows me top unique properties. Again, all of them in Portugal. And then I can choose to browse by property type. Here's the first time that we actually see booking.com make a conscious distinction between the various accommodation types it offers. So I can browse by hotels, apartments, resorts, villas, and so on. And then it shows me a carousel of homes guests love, which are not restricted to Portugal, but they are in Europe for me, and these will differ based on your location as well. I see trending destinations, which are based on location as well. So far, the customization is happening pretty similar to how Airbnb is doing it, except first, booking.com takes the time to establish the brand or reinforce the brand. Now, let's try to recreate the same trip that we did with Airbnb. We want to go to Madrid. Check-in date is December 12th, Friday, and checkout is December 15th, Monday. The default option for number of guests is 2 adults. I'm going to let that be. I'm not providing any information. I'll keep the default and hit search. In Madrid, the search results page first tells me that 2,224 properties have been found. Because Booking.com doesn't really distinguish between how hotels appear in search results versus how short-term rentals appear there. You could say that the title would be a dead giveaway, but as you can see, not all hotel listings actually have the word hotel in the title. For example, I know that the Ibis Madrid is a hotel, but I don't see the word in the title. Same goes for the Social Hub Madrid 4-star, no hotel. Only when you start to look a bit closer is when you can tell whether something is a hotel or not. For instance, in case of booking.com, the way ratings show up for hotels versus other accommodations is different. For hotels, booking.com will show you a star rating, which is for hotels. In case of other accommodations, specifically home and apartment-like properties, the rating system is not stars. It's these squares, yellow squares with a white circle in the middle. And that's how you can distinguish between hotels versus not on booking.com. But it is very clear that booking.com has been doing what Airbnb is doing now, which is that both hotels and short-term rentals are woven into the same ecosystem. They appear side by side without any clear demarcations, setting them apart from each other when a guest is searching for stays. I'm going to open a short-term rental listing on booking.com as well as a hotel listing and see if there's any difference. I'm opening Casa Faraona Luxury Residences in Madrid and the Ibis Madrid listing. Again, you can immediately see there aren't any clear distinctions between the hotel listing versus the short-term rental listing. You see the rating, you see the title, you see the location, you see the carousel of photos. To the right, there's the rating and also a snippet from a review or two. There's also the map on the right, and below that are amenities, the AI-generated description, property highlights to the right. On both pages, everything is the same until you hit most popular facilities, and then you come to availability information. Now, when you're looking at availability, the visual is not different. The layout of things, the colors or anything is not different. It's just that you will see more room type options and different types of terms for hotels than you would see for short-term rentals. But then if you go below the availability information, again, the page becomes very similar. You will see guest reviews, ratings for each of the categories, what questions travelers are asking, the hotel area info or the stay area info, and top attractions in that area as well. All right. So now we've taken a look at what hotel listings look like on both Airbnb and booking.com versus what short-term rental listings look like. And what's the difference? The answer to which is not really much at all. Let's see what happens when I go back to the Airbnb.com homepage, because this is also a good exercise in finding out how Airbnb is using AI to personalize. Now, when I go back to the Airbnb homepage, obviously it has saved my most recent search, but it has also already personalized the carousels, the curated carousels that I see on the homepage. So my first curated carousel is not about Porto, it's about stays near Gran Via in Madrid. And here we're saying, and the options that I'm seeing are below that. I can see a carousel titled Featured Hotels in Madrid, because I did take the time to go and visit hotels, to filter by hotels. Then I am seeing options for places to stay for similar dates, not the same dates as I chose, but again, in the same destination, staying in a different neighborhood, another one yet, and destination that guests checked out who were also checking out Madrid. So you can see that the homepage looks totally different in terms of what content I'm seeing. One little thing that I want you to pay attention to when it comes to listing pages on Airbnb is this. So we know that on booking.com, property description, listing description is AI generated. You submit as much information as you can about the property, and the AI generated information allows booking.com to standardize how information is presented, but also make sure that the descriptions are optimized. We know that on Airbnb, when you list a short-term rental, you provide the description, right? However, one thing to note is that in case of hotels, Airbnb is showing an AI-generated brief description right underneath the photo carousel. So if you see, I'm looking at a hotel in Madrid, Spain, it's the Vinci capital, and I see a description that says, stay in an Art Deco icon on Gran Via with in-house cinema, rooftop views, and bold design steps from Madrid's top theaters and nightlife. Whereas if I look at a short-term rental listing, I don't see that. The first description I see is the one that the host has provided. Just to verify, here's another hotel listing. This one is Collectia Stays Gran Via. And again, there's an AI-generated description, and below is the actual description provided by the host. Whereas here's a different short-term rental listing in which we don't see the AI-generated description. So that also hints at difference in how things are working in the backend when you start listing your hotel on Airbnb, when you start listing versus when you start listing your short-term rentals.